men and women don't think the same, and it's very naive to think that. And I've learned that me as a woman, I move completely different than a man would. So it's already recipe for disaster when you go into situations or relationships with the opposite sex thinking that they somehow understand you just off of knowing you, or understand how you feel just off of knowing you. It's naive to think that.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to the podcast, Just a Kid from Gary. Look, I am actually super excited about this episode. I have with me a good friend, someone that I graduated from high school with. I'm here with Bree. Bree, actually, she after graduating from high school, she went to Houston to study fashion merchandise at Lamar University. And I'm really excited because we're gonna have a lot to talk about in this episode. We're gonna be talking about maybe a little bit of fashion and something that she actually specializes in right now, which is relationships. So, Bree, how you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm glad you decided to do this.
Thank you.
I've been watching you on social media, and I think that you've been really fantastic at putting out, yourself. And I just had to say all right, let's try to do something.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Good. So for our audience, where does it all start for you? Where your story starts?
I would say my story started maybe about a year ago. I went through a domestic violence situation with one of my partners, and it put me in a place where I decided to just share my story. I ended up abruptly leaving Houston when I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant because I couldn't be, fighting my guy, and I was pregnant too at the same time. So I thought the best thing for me at the time was to just leave. So I left in the middle of the night. I packed up a 1-bedroom apartment, and I packed it down to 3 big black garbage bags. And I left Houston, and I came out here to Indianapolis, and I've been living with my mom for almost 2 years now.
Wow.
And so I just started diving more into the study of relationships and how men and women coexist together, and the best way to do that. And so I've just been documenting my story.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's all about for you at this point in your life, you're studying relationships.
Yes.
And that's because of what you've been through.
Exactly.
Tell me, when studying relationships, what things can you say you've learned up to this point?
I've learned that men and women don't think the same, and it's very naive to think that. And I've learned that me as a woman, I move completely different than a man would. So it's already recipe for disaster when you go into situations or relationships with the opposite sex thinking that they somehow understand you just off of knowing you, or understand how you feel just off of knowing you. It's naive to think that. So I've just been going down the list of things, like how a woman should move, how she should speak to a man, how she should carry herself in public, and just really just studying up on all of that.
Wait, so when you say how a woman should move, what do you mean?
I mean a woman being in her natural feminine essence all the time, leading with that all the time. Even in friendly relationships, romantic relationships, roommate relationships, literally all your relationships, leading with your femininity and understanding that both men and women have a feminine and masculine side to them, all of us, men and women. But it's about what you lead with. is what really helps you get things accomplished.
So what basically, let me understand if you get this right. You're suggesting that women should lead with their femininity.
Yes.
And the reason why?
Because you get more.
Explain that. Like, what do you mean you get more?
You get more of what you want.
Okay.
When you lead with your femininity.
Okay.
And I mean that in work, in all your relationships, versus, let's say you have a roommate situation and you've been washing dishes, and we all know that that's always issues with roommates. Who's washing the dishes? Who's cleaning up the kitchen, the common areas? I've done it all week. Nobody's holding their share. Nobody's doing their part. So let's say that's going on. You've been doing all the dishes all week, and your roommates have not. They've been stacking their dishes up along the sink, and you have a problem with that. So instead of going about it like, listen, I'm tired of doing the dishes. I always do it. You know, you cussing folks out. You raising hell. Instead of going about it like that, because that's a masculine way of doing something. That's a masculine way of getting your point across. So a feminine way of getting your point across would be, hey, you guys, I just want to talk to you all really quickly. I'm feeling pretty tired, and I would just like it if you all could do the dishes for the next couple of days. People are going to respond better to that versus you barking out what you've already done and all that, because then it becomes a competition. Well, you was doing it this week, but I was doing it all last week. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Versus just communicating how you feel in a delicate manner.
So whenever, let's say for example, a woman is in a position and she has to address a situation, and she is going about it, as you say, the masculine way. In today's world, are people actually looking at it that way?
No.
Why?
Well, I think because in today's world, everybody wants to be a boss. Everybody is their own boss, pretty much. So in today's world, you have so many women that's going out, starting their own businesses, raising their kids, buying their own houses, doing everything for themselves. So it makes it kind of hard for a man to come in and be like, hey, well, I think things should go like this. And especially if you've been running things yourself, you know, so you take on that masculine role not really even knowing. So a lot of people don't know that that's how they come off.
But they take on that role
because most of the times, okay, so for instance, my situation, I had to take on the role of being a full-time mom and making sure my kid had somewhere to stay, food in his belly, clothes on his back. Like, I had to do everything. So it's very easy for me to think, okay, yeah, I gotta get this done. Get out my way. Move. I gotta go. Don't have time for emotions. Don't have time for feelings. I gotta work. I gotta do my child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy to just jump into that role. But when you're in that role, you don't make space for anybody to come in. You see what I'm saying? So many women are single moms and boss babes and doing everything that really you can do as a woman and you should be doing. I totally agree with it. But I just think if you want to create space for a partner to come in, you kind of got to understand the roles of femininity and masculinity.
You know what? I look at like the male role, because I always look at things like, okay, so within African culture, it's always like been established, and I think Dr. Umar Johnson talked about how, you know, the male role, the alpha male role, I'll start like that, it's really, really important within the household, right?
Yeah.
And then you are suggesting even that the one, if a woman is able to take on more of a feminine role, then she allows her man or that alpha male in the household to become like that true
alpha male.
Yeah. Now, didn't you experience something similar like that, or your parents experience something similar to that?
So growing up in my household, my mom was the alpha.
Okay. And
my dad was more of the, just tell me what to do and I'll do it, kind of. So he didn't really have a place of authority in the house. So, I mean, I remember getting in trouble when I was 16 because I had a boy in the house. And he came home and caught me, like with the boy running out the back door. And he tried to tell me like, well, Bria, what do you think you're doing? Like, you can't do this. And I literally was like, you can't tell me what to do. Wow. You're never here.
So he had completely lost that alpha male role.
Completely.
Just because your mom was taking on?
My mom was an alpha male. And you know what my dad did in that moment? He called my mom and said, I don't know what to do. You need to come home. And she says, I'm out working. I'll be home later.
Wow. Does that destroy her?
Yes. It literally destroyed. At 16 years old, I had to leave my high school I was in, and I went to Maryville High School. And that's where we went to high school together and graduated. Yeah. But that was the middle of my sophomore year. Because they divorced and my mom couldn't afford the house, so we had to go somewhere where it was more feasible for her. So we moved to Maryville, Indiana.
You know, that's insane. Cause like I guess, you know, you don't realize it, and I guess I don't realize it, that women, when they play that role, a lot of times they just, you know, they think that they're just, it's kind of like a supply and demand type of thing, because we don't have a male figure in the household. For example, like my mom, you know, she raised me. She was a single mother, and she had to be mom and dad. And for example, like for Father's Day, we would celebrate my mom, and Mother's Day, we would celebrate my mom. But there is some like for example, like whenever my father would say anything, he'd be like, "Oh, shut up, dude." Like, even though he wasn't in the household, and I think he tried to portray still that alpha male role. It was like,
but you know, it's a front.
Yeah.
Because you're not really in the position.
Yeah.
You're not taking care of the household. Mom's not able to be here to really be a driving force in our life because she's working like a slave outside. Yeah. You don't, like, as a man, you're supposed to take care of the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're supposed to be that figure that's at home every day, but you also making sure that your wife's not stressed, because you know that she's going to give the best she can to the kids. And that doesn't mean that you don't give the best to the kids either. But you're out working, making sure your wife's not having to be out in the street every day too stressed and working 12-hour shifts. And you know, you get what I'm going with that?
Absolutely. But I think that, like, for example, you'll have a lot of people who disagree with you because we are in a more of a feminist and more pro-woman era where most women almost get upset with the idea of not being a alpha woman, not being a breadwinner. And you just said something that's kind of interesting. Women or men should should you know, be that breadwinner. Now I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but can you kind of like go into more detail why you think that?
So I think that because, okay, I'm gonna just use myself for an example, because the whole reason about me going on this journey and literally shifting my mindset, because I was one of those women that would get mad at something like this maybe a year or two ago. Because I'd be like, is she serious? Like, we're not in the 50s anymore. Like, it doesn't go like that where we're at home playing Susie Homemaker and the husband's out. Because you know what people equate that with? Control. So most women think if I let the man go out and make all the money and take care of the house, he's gonna think he can then control me, and nobody can control me. But that's literally, you have to get past the surface of it and get behind the psychology of it to really understand. So that's my whole journey. I had to get outside of myself and get behind the psychology of it and realize who I am as a woman. Why should I be out working 12-hour shifts every day to take care of a child that it took 2 people to make?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Why should I? And even when, like, it's a lot of men that's out here and ready to come in and literally take that weight off of you. But it's women that's gonna fight to the ends of the earth to keep that weight on your shoulders.
Why?
Just to say, I am independent. Just to say that. Just to say, I don't need no man. I count on me.
Right.
But you know what that stems from too? Past hurt.
Yeah.
That's not been healed from. Maybe you saw something like that growing up somewhere, and you looked at it like, oh, I'll never be that weak, or something like that. But I look at it, in my last relationship, I was working all the time, maybe 10-hour shifts every day. And it was cool because I was used to working hard. So this was my first apartment in Houston. I worked so hard. I worked 2 jobs to get my down payment, and they wanted me to pay a higher down payment because it was my first apartment. So I'm like, whatever. I got the money saved up. I had my little boyfriend at the time. I got the money saved up. I've been working 2 jobs. I'm so excited. I got my apartment. My boyfriend at the time helped me move in. He helped me move in, and he stayed. He did not go back to his house. He was just there all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, whatever. I guess this is what couples do when one person has their own place. Like, they're just always there. I didn't really understand though, or I was never really honest with myself. Like, Bree, you like your personal space.
Yeah.
So although, you may love your significant other or whatever, it's okay to come out and say, hey, maybe we should take a couple days and just kind of do some personal time. What do you think? And then they'll say whatever they think. But it's okay to be honest about how you feel. I was not honest about how I felt. So he was there all the time. I was paying all my bills by myself, although he was there all the time. And I think maybe the last 2 months I was in Houston, he said, hey, I'm going to start helping out with the rent, 50-50. So at this point, I'm like, so when you do the math, this is the same math I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
When you do the travel time to go to work and to come back home from work and the amount of work that you're doing and what you're going through as far as putting your body through when you go to work and all of that is the same things you need to be factoring in when you're in a relationship. When someone says like, okay, you're a man and I'm a woman and we have a romantic relationship, and somebody says, okay, well, I want to go 50-50 on the bills. I don't feel like that's necessarily fair. Because I'm going to tell you what I was doing. I was taking care of the bills. I was taking care of my house. It was always clean. Any night that he would stay over, which was pretty much every night, I would make his lunch for him that morning for work. So I would get up, I make dinner the night before, so I would just make the leftovers, put them in a nice little, you got your fork, you got your napkin, you got your water bottle, everything. I was doing that. I was getting up early. And my job, I didn't have to be at work till 10 o'clock most days. So I was getting up out my sleep, because you got to be at work by 7.
Yeah.
Leaving you, kissing you goodbye, then going out when you wanted to go out, just doing a whole lot of things. Anytime we went out somewhere, he wanted a new outfit. So I would run to the store to go get a new outfit for him. I told you I graduated fashion merchandising. Yeah. So he definitely trusts my style sense. So then it became a thing where I don't shop for myself. My girl doesn't. So my girl dresses me. My girl picks out my cologne. Like, I was doing everything. Yeah. So when you factor in all of that and you do that math, you go out to work and you do 100% of these bills.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? That's my thought process, because I'm giving so much of myself. I don't think it's fair that I still have to go out to work and do 10-hour shifts. And you know what happened? I got pregnant and I said, I don't want to keep working like this. I'm tired. This baby, I'm growing a whole nother human, and it takes a lot out of a woman. And he says, well, you got to keep working. So I just say all that to say, though, it's important to lead with your femininity from the jump, because how you start is how it's always going to finish. It won't change in the middle. So
people can basically, because when I think about a situation, and it probably is not super connected to it, but it did relate to the first part what you were saying. I was talking with someone, and this is kind of a question to you more of, I was talking with someone, and this individual, her and I was hanging out a lot, you know what I'm saying? And we were like really here, when it's there, it's different.
Oh yeah, the connection.
When it's there, it's power.
That girl,
Exactly. It's like, I don't care what nobody else says. We up here with it, right?
Yeah.
So it was just great vibes and just great energy. And just like any natural human being, you want to be around that person all the time.
Yeah.
But is there a such thing as a person losing interest because you're hanging around them all the time?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Most definitely. And here's the thing I would tell most women. If it's a situation like that, because it's exciting. when you meet somebody that you connect with and there's like legit good vibes between y'all, yeah, you always want to soak up that person's energy. It's good energy. Like, who doesn't want to do that? But I will tell women, when you meet somebody you like, it's best to keep it just a little bit. So if y'all hang out like Saturday, say y'all do something Sunday morning too, like y'all do brunch or whatever, but the night before y'all did the movies or whatever, we not seeing each other Monday through Friday. No. A woman needs to stay busy. You know what I'm saying? Keep your hobbies and your interests first and foremost. And then you meet up with your new guy when you have the time and space, when he's actively planning for that time and space. I'm not talking about Netflix and chill for the first couple of months. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I'm talking about the man actually pursuing the woman in a legit, genuine way. So in order for a man to really feel, and let's be honest, men need a challenge. So I say you could get bored because you need a challenge.
Right.
It's just like, okay, cool, we connect, but I guess you're easily accessible. So anything that's easily accessible, you're gonna get bored with. It's just natural.
And I think that's what happened with us. Like, genuinely, like, I was looking at it, like, after it happened, it just split up, right? And it was ugly. And I think, like, for me, I think I hated it more than anything because I am this type of guy, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I genuinely believe, I agree with you, but like, I think, like, to the fellas too, because I think, like, for me, before I really knew what was going on, I would have to be in a situation where I would have to, like, try to pull myself away from that individual. And I'm the type of guy that I naturally, like we talked about earlier, I like to be around good energy. And so I agree with you, and I'm going to even switch it, and I think that men should, if you take her out, if you're going out, you're doing your thing, fine. Yeah. But like, Monday through Friday, you hustling. You on your purpose. You grinding. Like, seriously. No time for until you continue to pursue things. Exactly. And you make sure that, like, okay, like, all right, like, Saturday night we'll take you out. Exactly. Like you said, Sunday brunch. Monday we hustle. Yeah, we back at it. And you know what? And I've even done this before too. I'll put my friends on ice for a man. Same. So I don't even have plans. Like, oh yeah, I don't plan drinks with my girls. We're gonna go out. I'm super excited. I get to wear my real cute outfit. Like all of that. I have, even in my past, I have canceled on my friends to be with my man. Interesting. And I don't want to say it's backfired with my friends, but I've definitely been embarrassed because once the things fizzle out with whoever I'm dealing with, then I still have my friends there who are like, girl, we gotta do some talking. Yeah. So I would even say that too. That's what I'm saying. Like, not every weekend needs to be reserved for your new boo. Not every weekend. You can get some weekends in there, or maybe we can meet up for a quick lunch, just because our schedule work out for that. But it's like it's all up in the air though, and I think too, more women need to require men to communicate with them in advance. Don't ask me for a date on Saturday and it's the day before. You see what I'm saying? 2 weeks. Yeah. Thank you. I gotta get my schedule in, because like I said, you should be busy. You should be busy. I got hobbies. Like I said, it's plenty of boss babes out here that's got businesses and kids, and then they still doing the 9 to 5 until their business really can take over. So you're busy. Yeah. And you should always be busy. And then you got your friends. Yeah. So, and I would never ever do my friends like that, because my friends have been here for me. I cannot do them like that again. So what is it that makes us put that significant other over our friends? I guess for me, I think it was just like, I don't know if a guy like him will come around again. I don't know. He's putting urgency on things, so that's putting an urgency on me. He's making me feel like
I have to choose him, or he's gonna go somewhere, or he's out the door.
So fear of loss.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Fear of loss. And like I say, a lot of this, how you do your relationships in your adulthood, you can definitely look at them and kind of figure out if some of that stems from your childhood, your past.
Yeah.
So,
alright, this is something, so like, let's talk about my past, or just past in general, right? Some things that I've seen, and I was thinking about this, and I was gonna say, like, how can I, like, ask you this question? Because, you know, so for example, like, growing up, you know, one night, like, growing up at, like, for example, I'm in a single parent family home. My mother, she, and my dad separated when I was young, right? But it all led up to this kind of event that I'm about to tell you. So one night, I'm sleeping, and I wake up, and I hear, like, screaming, right? And I'm like, probably 6 or 7, 8 maybe. And I go into where I hear the screaming, which is in my mother's room, and to find, like, my dad is on top of my mom, choking her. And at this time, my mom is at 7, 8 months pregnant, right? And so, like, that little man in me is like, I gotta defend my mom. I gotta help her, right?
Help mom,
Yeah. So, like, I tried to, like, fight him off, but, like, this is a grown man, so I'm like a flea. You know what I'm saying? He's swinging me on. And so I'm, like, trying to, like, help my mom. She's screaming. She's like, call the police, call the police. This is very, like, crazy situation. And so, you know, my sister actually gets to the phone. And, you know, I'm still trying to, like, hustle and bustle my dad off my mom. And my sister, I think she come in the room and say, I call the police. When my dad, he gets upset and, like, throws her out the house.
No.
Yeah. So, like, she's pregnant. You know, he's been choking her. And I know that night she was so fearful. Yeah. Right? Because she thought that she was going to lose her life and her baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the truth is, you know, I got to be honest, that night haunts me. Yeah. Like, it doesn't come back all the time, but when it does, it hits me, right? Yeah. And, like, when it comes down to relationships, like, I guess I'm the type of guy, I don't want to ever cause harm to other people. Right. Especially my significant others. Excuse me. So, what strategies, or what should I be thinking about? Or, cause, like, for me, I am always, like, those guys. I'm one of those guys, like, I like to progress forward. I like to move forward. But when something constantly hunts you like that night, oh my God, you never forget it. Yeah. And it's like, man, and honestly, it has. I have to be honest with you, it has, like, harmed a lot of the, like, relationships that I've been in. Yeah. Like, as far as, like, how to move forward, I gotta be honest. A lot of times I think that admits to, like, the success of that relationship. I get scared, you feel me? Because I'm like, yo, like, what if? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm so, like,
angry?
Not even angry, but where I'm like, you know, I don't want to get upset with that person and think about the past, or it's just that past hunting. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. Like, I heard an artist, he was talking about how he grew up and he watched his mom get pimped. Wow. Yeah, he watched his mom get pimped.
Oh, that's heavy.
And guess what he did when he got older? He pimped women.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's what he's seen his pops and people do. So like, what strategies do you give to people, or what strategies could you? Because I know you talk to people all the time, and you always give people strategies.
You know, I always try to tell people, just deal with it. Like, write it down. Do whatever you do to release things. For me, I write and I cry. Like, my situation that I went through, I thought that I was gonna die. And I did put out a police report, and in the police report, it read strangulation. Like, she was strangling me. And even in the midst of, like, him strangling me, he was saying things like, I want you to die. I want that baby to die. So that situation definitely haunts me too sometimes. I definitely can think back, but I'm gonna tell you, I just went out after my child is 18 months, so a little over a year, and I just went out back to Houston where his dad is, and he met his child, and that was our first time seeing each other in about 2 years, because I left when I was still pretty early in my pregnancy. So it was about 2 years, and since we've seen each other, and it was just, I'm gonna tell you, he said a lot of things to me. So I think I just got that confirmation that everything was gonna be okay, and it's okay to move forward and work together.
And as co-parenting, I think that's very like smart. You know, to be honest, you know, I'm a father myself, and like for me, I have to admit, like co-parenting is difficult.
Yeah. Because
it's your views, and you're trying to get the other person to agree or disagree with whatever you feel that is best for raising.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think that the humility part about it is starting. Like for me, I had to apologize, and one thing for me, I don't always like to apologize.
Yeah.
I not saying that I'm cocky, it's just that like with the reasoning, maybe as a part of justification too. It's like there's a reason behind it. It's not always what it seems, but at the truth of it is you know, at the end of the day I have to apologize.
Yeah.
And you know, that kind of leads to communication. Like for me, communication is like the toughest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, like it's probably the reason why I struggle in a lot of the relationships that I've had in the past, right? So like, how do you deal with communication?
Lately I've just been learning to be more open and honest. So who I'm honest with first is myself. Bria, is this something that you're okay with, or is it something that you're not okay with? If you're not okay with something, it's okay to say that and to communicate that in a healthy way. Like something that me and my child's father had to get past was that first visit to Houston. Like they were first meeting, I was just seeing him after a long time. He wanted to just, come on, let me get my son. One thing, like, you know how you have just visions in your mind. His vision in his mind was riding down the highway, windows down, his son in the back seat, like, you know, just doing the dad thing. Yeah. But I said, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that on y'all first meeting. So, no. Then he came back a couple days before we were supposed to leave, and he says, okay, how about I take that ride? And I said, I'm not okay with that. And I'm not okay with that because we are just seeing each other for the first time after a little while. You're just meeting your son. You don't know him that well. So if he got upset, you may not understand, like, oh, that's a hungry cry, or he's sleepy, let me get him in, or he really doesn't know me that well, so he's uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So I explained that. But I also said, this no doesn't mean a never. It just means not exactly what you want it. Yeah. So it's okay.
Is it ever okay to penalize the other person?
Like for what they did to you?
Absolutely.
I think okay, a part of me wants to say it depends on the severity. And then a part of me wants to say no. So just, to me, a lot of things are situational. My situation was very bad. I don't sugarcoat that. It was bad. But I think the time away did something. And me not wanting to compromise that time at all. It took a while just to get me to the point where I said, okay, you can buy a plane ticket. And even when I landed and got there, he had leaned over to me and said, what did I do to deserve this? And I said, well, you started helping out more with your son. That was a big thing for me because you started to relieve some of that pressure. That's why when your woman is happy, or when the woman of the house is happy, everybody flourishes and they're happy too.
Happy wife, happy life.
It makes sense because when your wife is stressed out and she has to work 12-hour shifts every day to make sure the house bills is taken care of, make sure the kids got clothes, make sure you're good in all your areas that a wife's supposed to make sure you're good, then make sure the kids are fed and bathed and off to school, and it's stressful. So a lot of times your wife can't be present for the things you end up losing out.
Yeah.
Because your wife gives to the kids, she gives to the house, she gave to her job earlier. She's tired by the end of the night.
Absolutely.
So there's no time to really talk and hash things out or do things that people do behind closed doors. There's no really time for that. So the man ends up losing out. I've done it before. If I've been at work all day, I'm not coming home after I done made you dinner, sat down and ate dinner, cleaned up the dishes, cleaned up the kitchen, swept it out, make sure everything's good. Now I done took a shower, now I'm in the bed. Trust me, you're not getting none of this. No, you're not. What?
But why though?
I've done too much.
Too, didn't he?
I've done too much. Because like I said, I was getting up before I had to even get up to make sure you was good for your day.
Yeah.
Like lunch packed, everything good.
So real quick, how can he like help or make life easier for you?
Don't propose a 50-50 split to me.
So it's all 100%.
I feel like if you can't go 100, you at least need to push yourself to 80. And because then what that does for me, if you say I got 80% of the bills and that's literally all I can do without pushing myself to the walls, then I'll say, okay, cool. That means my 6-day work week goes down to 5. And I'm able to be more rested. I'm able to amplify my time to where I can take care of my responsibilities, but I also can get some rest and catch up on some things that I want to catch up on, and I still feel good. So now I have more appreciation towards you as my man. What do men want? Men want respect.
That's it.
If you're offering 50-50 split to me in the household, I don't really respect you. I'm more so just we just here.
Yeah, equal basically. Yeah.
So you gotta look at it like that. Like if you're doing more, then that means I can do more for you. See, with a happy mindset.
As a man, I have to say that, I've always believed that, or how I believe or how I look at it is like in a happy home, like I should be taking care of what I need to be taking care of, right? And then there's the support of either that significant other. We'll just use that route, and that is the backbone to everything that the man is supposed to do. And like I said, we talked about this kind of in our modern 21st century society. We have this concept where men shouldn't, and I don't know. It's a kind of a slap in the face to men. Yeah, it's like, I can't be a man. I can't do the things that I in here want to do. Yeah, and you point your finger at me. And you tell me, oh no, that's you can't. That's So like, with that being said, how can men kind of like regain that leadership within their household? I know that could be like really a far-fetched idea, especially in 21st century and in our society, but like how can men regain that, especially if they want to?
I think men, okay.
I hit you with a lot, I know.
You did. So here's my thing. More men have to understand their role. Don't propose if you and your woman decide to go together and get an apartment or a house together. Don't propose a 50-50 split down the middle with everything with your woman. If you think about things in the grand scheme, it's not 50-50. Because if I have your child, which is something you cannot do, You can't give your own self a legacy.
Yeah.
Only I could do that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just that superwoman power in itself is something that should be just like on a pedestal. Like, this woman just gave me something that's gonna live on far past me.
Yeah.
You know, so I gave you that, and then not only did I give you that, I'm gonna nourish it. I'm gonna make sure it grows. I'm gonna make sure it has love and it's protect. Like, I'm gonna do all of that. There's nothing that compares to a mother's love. What you can give your child and what your child's mother can give your child is two totally different things. But both are needed and both are important. So I'm not saying that a man is any less than important, but it's different levels. That's all I'm saying. And I think as a woman, we equate respect, which is what men want. We equate respect to you handling things. And that's simple things. Making sure the yard is taken care of. Making, like, all the manly stuff. Something break down, if you don't know how to fix it, you on the phone calling somebody to make sure they out here to fix it. You know what I'm saying? You making sure your family's not in the cold in the middle of winter. That's what women depend on men for. So if you telling me we had a 50-50 split, now I gotta make sure I'm doing everything. Everything. And on top of that, I gotta make sure you pleased. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
And men love that. A little bit more than women do. You know what I'm saying? So
really?
A lot of times.
Really? So women don't enjoy pleasure as much as men, is what you're saying?
I definitely feel like a woman can go longer than a man without it. So in situations,
I haven't tested it, so I can't speak on that.
So for me, when I was working full time, taking care of my house and taking care of my man and making sure he's good and I'm good, that department definitely lacked. I didn't really even feel like he was deserving of it. So you got it when I wanted to give it to you, but I never compromised. You know.
So if he would have taken like more of the like, if he would have like, chill, relax. I'm gonna take a little bit more. I'm gonna give me 80, give me 85. If you say I'm gonna get 85, you would have been like, okay, Dad.
Yeah, most definitely. I'd have been on my standing appointments every month, looking good, feeling good, because I would have been taking more time to do me, to keep myself up. Yeah. Because in the end, he came out and said, why don't you get your hair done more often? Why don't you get your nails done more often? Because men like that kind of stuff. But that kind of stuff falls to the wayside when I gotta do everything. So you gotta think about that.
That's a good point. So let's talk about like building together, because I think that a lot of times I hear a lot about like just like this individualistic idea. People saying we gotta do things separate, but I think that we're like not hitting on the point that makes sense the most is we have to build together.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I love business. I bleed it. I wake up in the morning. I'm excited about it, and I want people around me to be motivated like that as well. Yeah. But I believe that when I get into a relationship, or when I'm in a relationship, I should be building. We should never be here. Is that ever good or bad to look at?
Okay, I feel like the term building sometimes can be a little bit triggering for me, because I don't know what, like, you definitely have to explain. Just from a personal standpoint, whoever was telling me this, they would need to explain to me what building looked like to them, because I feel, okay, go ahead.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So like, this is what building looks like for me, right? I want to be in a position, right, where I'm helping that other individual, right? So basically, we are economically growing, and we are economically sustaining together, right? but like, for example, like we should be in a position where, how to put this, like we're not at the same level when we first got together, economically, spiritually, physically, wherever. We're supposed to be helping each other, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, only because like, is that the pressure of something else that's saying, oh, this is what your relationship have to be, or is that what you define it?
That's a good question. I definitely think it's what you define it though. So for me, okay, I'm gonna tell you, my mom was a real estate agent, and my dad was more so, I mean, in Chicago, he just called it rehabbing. Okay. So that's just house flipping. He still does it to this day. He's never ever worked a job in his life. Never punched a clock. He's just always been flipping houses in Chicago. So my mom said, okay, well, I'm a real estate agent. What can we do with that? So then they started getting into flipping houses together. Then they started getting into wholesaling together. And it just kind of spiraled from there. So I think that, in a sense of building, they made lots of money together. So, and I even think about it like, maybe one person could have said, okay, we're making all this money, maybe we need to get a financial advisor in here, so we can figure out how to keep money and grow our money more, you know. So I think building in a way of, is this person gonna help you? Like how I said, one of them should have been like, hey, let's get a financial advisor in here. Hey, let's get a tax accountant in here. Hey, let's make sure we dot all our I's and cross all our T's. So I feel like building in that sense, I don't mind it. But if you need me to come in and you say, okay, because my mom did it. She put her money together with my dad, and they did some beautiful things. And then most of the time, my dad had the money, so he just meet her up. Hey, tell me how much you need. Let's make that happen for you. Yeah. So it worked for them. I just think for me,
here we go.
It's a bit touchy.
Okay. Where
exactly do you need me at? What's my role? What do you propose I'm doing? Am I just putting up the money, or am I actually invested in the projects, or how is that going? Or are you just looking for me to support you? Like, hey, honey, I was looking up this equipment. I think this will be good for you. Or, hey, I bought some new lighting equipment for you. Like, what are you looking for? I think it's just important to understand what your partner is looking for when they say they want somebody to build with.
Yeah. I think majority of the times, I think it's more of moral support.
Which is totally what the woman should be doing.
Wow. So you think that, like,
I think that's a perfect role.
Hubby should be like, yo, babe, I'm thinking about investing in this, and she's like,
go.
Like, what? My man, he got it. What? Like, so.
Go.
So like, it's more of a like you can do it type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Man. That's interesting.
And I fully believe that that's the role of a feminine woman.
To support.
To support. Be that, and I won't even say driving force, but just be that person that understands, I'm behind my man on whatever he's trying to do. I'm behind him. I trust his judgment. Most women will be like, okay, you say you want to invest? Okay, I was just over on 38th and I saw a couple properties. Look, you see how my voice even changed and my posture changed? I was over on 38th. I saw a couple properties over there. We can get some rental properties going back. Yeah, that's what's up. I think we, like, it's different because then you like.
Yeah, because he probably already has some property that like, he want to look at. And you already.
Just chill. Just, you know.
So that masculine versus feminine.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, and then this is how men work. So say your woman comes to you with a problem or something, or she's crying and she got some issues going on or whatever. Men go to the side. A man won't sit there and cry with you over your problems. A man's gonna be like, okay, solutions. I got a couple solutions for you right here. We could do this, we could do that. Oh, what you think about this? which one you want to do? Because I could solve this issue for you. Your man don't want to see you crying and upset, so he's gonna immediately go to, how can I fix this problem?
You don't know how many times I've been in that situation where literally I realized that it wasn't that the solution they didn't want it. They just wanted to rant. They just wanted to talk. Yeah. But that's instantly how my brain go. Okay, she's come to me with a problem. Yeah. It's time to go to work. Yeah. How can we solve this problem? Genuinely, like it's just. Is it because how we work, like men? Yeah. Like, is it true that like, or I feel like, I'll tell you this. I feel like men are more logistical. Yeah. Where we think with a logical explanation, something with a little bit more reasoning. Totally. Where in woman's standpoint, it could be more, what's the word? I can't even think of the word.
More, women's standpoint is more of like an emotional place. Okay. So when a woman comes, if your woman comes to you, oh, these girls at work are talking about me. I don't know what to do. Oh, it makes me so upset. Why do they hate me? Blah, blah, blah. Men don't necessarily, you can't talk to your men like you talk to your girls. Yeah. That's why you got to compartmentalize and don't put your girls on ice for your man. You see why it's important to have all of these relationships and sustain all of your relationships, even when you're in a romantic one, because that's what you need your girls for. Absolutely. Then you can talk to them and cry and weep and moan and drink, and it's all good. You can do all of that in one setting with your girlfriends. Right. But with your man, if you crying over something and then 5 minutes later you laughing, he probably can be like, well, did we solve that issue, or are we just, because I don't know how to really deal with you like this. You see what I'm saying? Because men, they're problem solvers. Yeah. You present a problem, he's going to present a solution. That's what most men do. I have
to give you a compliment. I like the way you break those things down, because it's through reasoning that the reason why we do coexist so perfectly in harmony. Yeah. But like, you know, aside of all your knowledge, which is like amazing, thank you. What do you told me you're moving to Houston, so I know you got a lot planned. What do you got planned? And like, we're about to exit 2019, we're going into 2020. What you got planned?
So much stuff. I don't even know how. I'm just keeping it all together. Wow. I have different business ventures that I'm tapping into. I started my own podcast, talking I'm speaking more so towards a feminine audience, an audience of women who want to learn and grow and prosper within themselves, learning more about themselves. So I just started that podcast. I have my YouTube channel. I'm about to go help my friend with her business, brand management. So I'm everywhere, and I got my hands in all the pots. Absolutely. Just trying to prosper and grow.
So you said business ventures, and you talked about podcasts. What inspired the podcast? Was it just like we've talked earlier, the situation that happened in the past, or
it's definitely my past situation. I just realized, and even being on social media all the time, and I'm reading the comments, like, people really think differently. Yeah. Like, you know, certain situations that go on with celebrities and all of that. If you read the comments on the Shade Room and stuff like that, you realize like how people think, and it just made me feel like maybe people need more platforms, especially women, talking about how to be a woman in her full feminine essence. And understanding the power of that. Wow. You will get further. You get what you want.
Wow. So you believe that through women working in their full feminine essence,
to change the world,
they're able to not only change the world but get exactly what they want. So, like, well, real quick, and I hate to go on this avenue, how would you present that argument to a woman who says, oh, like, since I've been an alpha woman, I've been getting exactly what I want.
Have you though? Have you? Is it exactly what you want? Because most people, aside from the great career, great house, all the things aesthetically pleasing, aside from all of that, is your innermost being, your happy place, is that place being stimulated?
Right.
Most people want love. Let's be honest. Outside of all of the glamorous things, most people want to be loved and feel love. So you have a child, you get that love. It's all compartmentalized stuff. So the love your child can give you is not like the love you get in a romantic relationship. We're made for that. Literally, companionship. We are made for that. So you have to be honest with yourself. Are you getting everything you want? Because there's a lot of millionaire women who are single. And most of the time it's because they're masculine. Most men don't want to be with a masculine woman.
That's true.
It's not room enough for two alphas.
Yeah.
So, only for one.
So then that means that either a man will take the
Yep.
beta male role.
And it works. It works for some people.
Yeah.
Some men are they lead with more their feminine side, and the woman leads with more of her masculine side. It is relationships like that do work for people, and I'm not shading that. But I know for me personally, I want more of a masculine man, so that I can be in my full feminine essence and relax in that. So
that's beautiful that you know what you want. You said you were on YouTube. Give a shout out to the audience where they can find you on YouTube, and even on Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on Spotify, my podcast is called This Woman's Journal, and I am on YouTube at Bree. That's the not grammatically correct way, YA. Yeah, and like knowledge, like KNOW, and Bree, BRE. That's my YouTube name, and that's my name on IG. So that's where I'm at. That's where you can find me.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you for taking this time.
Thank you for inviting me, Josh. It's been fun.
It was amazing. Literally, a lot of information being passed down.
Yeah.
And since you're going to Houston, I'm gonna be going to Houston pretty soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we can figure out how to do a part 2.
Oh yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Because there's a lot to be talked about here.
Oh, Josh, that would be great.
Yeah.
And I have a great setup. We could do it.
Perfect.
We could do it.
Let's do it. There it is. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We're out.